Hey there, and thanks for watching. Welcome to my December budget preview. Before I start, I just have to say a word about the microphone. I'm hoping that the sound is better. From when I hear it, it definitely sounds better. I know that was a huge issue that people were mentioning, and I apologize for that, and I'm hoping that it's better now. And so thank you for bearing with me during those terrible sound videos with terrible sound. So over to the budget. And this was kind of an interesting exercise because really all this is my best direction or idea on how I'm going to spend my money this month. I have gone through each category and tried to do my best to anticipate, but as we all know, things come up. I would say that maybe, I want to say last month, what I learned was that planning is better than no plan, even though it's not where you would want it. And I'll get into that a little bit later because I created a handy pie chart that kind of helps me see how my expenses are sort of displayed across all categories. And it kind of helps me have a reason for why I'm feeling the way I am. So let me get into it for December. This is the income that I expect, and I have automatic savings coming out, and rather than stopping that, I'm just going to use those savings and create an automatic deposit back into my main checking account. So fixed expenses are all the same, no updates there. And I realized what I forgot to include in November was a category for my loan, my debt repayment, which is now at the minimum that it can be. But I just forgot to include it. So couldn't really believe that I did that, even though if I copied over from previous months. So that is the total of fixed expenses that I have, and this is just what it's costing to live. Moving down, and I had been using the Dave Ramsey tool, every dollar budget tool online just to kind of check out some of my expenses. For my purposes, I like being able to compare month to month and see them all on the same page. So I think that's the format I'm going to stick with for now. I've experimented with a couple different formats, and this is the one that so far has stuck the best. So onto variable expenses, I have gas set at what it ended up being around last month. Groceries are a little bit high, so again, I'm kind of using that as a flexible spending account. I'm really going to try to keep it as close as I can to that budget, but I also am planning to bake cookies and give them as gifts and possibly do some edible sort of consumable gifts. So that's why that category is a little bit higher. Personal care, I also have a hefty fund in there for any needs that might arise. Again, just trying to be very generous and will adjust if needed. Car expenses were, again, this month, listed in this month. They've actually already happened, and I'm glad that they are at where they are. I was hoping to put off this one. Repair needed a new oxygen sensor, and I was hoping to put it off till December, and I got really darn close. I just had it repaired today, and thank goodness that was the only thing that was wrong with the car. So all told, it was scheduled maintenance with the tires and the battery, and then I had this oxygen sensor repair that was also part of sort of planned and anticipated maintenance. So that's why that is now in this month instead. And I'm, again, happy to pay that. I was having a conversation with the service center tech, and he was just, well, he's not the tech. He's kind of moved up from that to managing the front office now. So he's kind of got a bit of a promotion. We were talking about how I was paying this, and I was paying it in cash. And I was like, I am happy to pay every cent of this because it means I don't have a car payment. He's like, absolutely, because you'd be paying that every month if you had a car payment. I'm like, absolutely right. So I'm happy to pay that at this point for this month. So the next category is food out. And again, that's very healthy, although I will adjust as necessary. And I'm trying to keep it out to only planned outings with other people as opposed to grabbing takeout or drive-through food on my own. So really being more intentional with how I'm spending that food out. There's nothing additional, and that's the subtotal for this for these variable categories, which brings us to total expenses of this amount here, which, if you'll notice, is slightly over my income. However, having the extra money that I would normally use towards savings is what that's there for. So then we have additional expenses, and I put in my gift fund here. So that's come down significantly, and I'm hoping that by bumping up my side hustle, I'll be able to cover the additional gift amount. that I have budgeted. And these are some additional incomes that I have planned. And again, I try not to count any of these streams in my basic living expenses and budget because A, they're super variable, and B, I like to use those to growing additional income streams. But especially for this month, that may end up covering some of the additional expenses for gifts, etc. So what I also did for this month, just to kind of give me a bit of a sanity check, was I took my main expenses and I sort of distilled them down, and I made a pie chart so I can see how they are arrayed across the different categories. And this helps me tremendously because I can see why I am freaking out and feeling like I'm stuck. Because this housing category is 51% of my income. It is over half of my income. And the reason why that's different down here is because I included a service that we have for lawn care. And so we've had these people for maybe 5 years, and they're fantastic. And I love them, and they are so they're really patient and flexible, and they work with us. They've gone from like when we got the whole lawn done with fertilizer and all these extra services down to the very bare basics where all they do in the summer is come and cut the grass. And it's $35 each time they come, and I am happy to pay it because A, just keeping up the expense of a mower, like a lawn mower, is hassle enough. And B, I just don't have the time. And C, I have pretty terrible seasonal allergies. So it's just not something that I am excited to do at all, to be mowing the grass. So I'm happy to have them come. But that adds up over the course of the month. And what I do is usually make like minimum payments during the year and then during the summer, and then pay it off during the winter. And that's just so not ideal. But I have that sort of additional hanging over, and it's super stressful. And that's why like having housing costs that are more than 50% of your income is stressful. So that's kind of the reason for why I'm feeling a little bit stuck. And it's been this way for almost 2 years. And we're actively looking to update to change that. I'm in the house that I grew up in, and mom's actively looking to sell, and we're kind of talking about and brainstorming next steps. So this hopefully will be changing. In the meantime, I am trying to change my attitude and approach this with a spirit of gratitude and thankfulness and appreciation for the home that is serving us well right now, and take as good care of it as we possibly can, so that when it comes time to sell, we can get as much as possible. So going into December, I'm looking at this sort of plan, and I'm like, I don't know how realistic it is, but this is a course for now. And you have to know what you're aiming for, otherwise you'll definitely never hit it. So this is what I'm aiming for, this or better. So I have to keep repeating that to myself and reminding myself of the importance of being present in the moment and realizing that I can only plan my actions. That's all I can plan. I can't control anything outside of myself. All I have control over is my actions. And that's ultimately sort of the greatest security I have, is my own actions, beliefs, thoughts, habits. So I'm trying to take as much ownership and control of them as humanly possible. So that's where I am for this December budget preview. I will look forward to doing a recap of this December budget, hopefully at the end of the month, hopefully before the end of the year, because I like sort of doing this and having it planned and in place before the month starts. So thank you for watching, and I hope that you will keep watching. Bye.